Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited you're here. Relax summer writing. So, first of all, thank you for being here in July, start of summer. We're getting going, and you want to enjoy writing this summer. Chances are you don't want to necessarily unplug for 2 months and get nothing done. I mean, maybe you do. That's great. If you do, that's cool too. There's obviously no judgment. But we are here to get writing done, make progress on our writing projects that feels good and not in the pushing kind of way. We are good. Let's roll. I want to honor your time today as well. For those of you who don't know me, this is me doing summer things, taking a walk, listening to a podcast while recording things that pop in as I am taking a walk and getting inspiration. This is how we write. We don't always lock ourselves in our offices or behind a desk for 3, 6, 12, 8 hours a day. It's getting out and about. So I'm a 3-time author working on book number 4. I'm a writing coach, founder of the Intuitive Writing School, and I strongly believe that building consistent writing habits will serve you year round, not just in summer, and it will transform your business in so many great ways. And that is why you're here. Speaking of while you're here, I would love to hear. Feel free to share in emojis in the chat how your summer is going so far. This is always a fun exercise. Mine would be laptop, sunshine, roller coaster, lightning bolt, pool, beach. Same. Okay, look, we've got some weddings. I think that's what's happening. Good, but also very intense. Feels more like the beginning of something and less like taking a pause. Yep. Totally with you on that. I see some crazy eyeballs, sweating, swimming, sunshine. Yep. If you're in the US, actually, really probably anywhere right now, you're probably sweating. It's hot. I think any of you folks who are up north are hotter than it is for us down in Florida. Thanks for sharing that. So, with the energy of summer, it's an energy of slowing down to speed up. Now, this is not unplugging. This is not feet up doing nothing, not writing, but thinking about writing, which expends a ton of energy and doesn't lead to any action taking. It's about feeling good about the writing we're doing and the action we're taking all summer long. Finding flow wherever you are. Give me a yes in the chat if you've experienced flow state. Hopefully while you're writing. Let's just say while you're writing. We all know what flow feels like. And it's one of those things that when you're in it, you are in it. I see lots of yeses. So good. Flow is you're not thinking. It is being so present in your body and not overthinking. You're not really anything. You are there. I see yes when I can get to dedicate time to it. Yeah, flow is one of those things. It finds you, and we also have to find it. We have to make the time for it to happen so that it can show up. This is a great comment. Otherwise, I overthink the writing when I am not writing. Amen. That is the biggest thing. So not writing is actually a part of writing. And what I mean by that is taking intentional pauses and not forcing. And you'll know that you're writing, quote, enough when you're not writing and you're not thinking about it. Or you're thinking about it in a way where you know you're going to get to the page soon. It's not, oh, I'm obsessing over this. I'm thinking about what to do here. What should I do with this? I don't know what to do. And you're doing that instead of showing up and doing the writing. And what I find, we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but I wanted to address this. What I often find when people say that they're overthinking their writing, they often haven't done enough writing. They're doing editing. So, very important distinction. Writing and editing are two different things. Writing is the letting the words out, like you don't have a backspace button. It's the exhale. You're not stopping it. It's turning the faucet on. All these analogies and visuals for you. Turning the faucet on, letting the water out, letting everything flow. Editing comes later and you're cleaning it up. I had a conversation with someone the other day. Let me know if this sounds like you too. She said she keeps finding herself stuck at one spot in her book. And I asked her, what is going on? What specifically is happening as you are sitting down with your book? And what's happening, it turned out, is she was trying to edit it and it wasn't ready to edit. She had all these other things swirling around in her mind and she wasn't showing up to the page to let them out. So that can be going on. So the other reason we slow down to speed up, navigating distractions. They're going to happen. I'll talk about some practical ways to do this too. And really, it's about presence. It all comes back to that. Summer is really, I see summer writing as a vibe. It's an energy that, like was mentioned in the chat earlier, the beginning of something and less like taking a pause, which is so spot on. We are beginning the things. And if you think of where we are in a zodiac year, we kicked off the new year, not January 1st, but March 20th. I forget the actual date, with Aries season. Aries was the spark. Next, we have Taurus, an earth sign, which grounds the spark and starts to bring things into action, forward momentum. Gemini is air and communicates, and we're talking about our project. We're getting out there. We're probably connecting with more people. I joined like 2 networking groups and have been to more events in the past 3 months than I have in 5 years. That was Gemini. And now we're in Cancer season, which is the start of summer. And it's about home, safety, security. And we're building this internal, safe, grounded feeling so that we can emerge. And in the second part of summer, which kicks off with Leo season later, that's when we emerge from our shell of the crab, which represents Cancer, and we're out and open. Here's my writing. Here's my stuff. Here I am. So a little bit energetically about summer. Quick practice I want to take you through for a second, or just a moment of reflection. Close your eyes if you feel this is supportive to you. Just take a deep breath. Imagine it is Labor Day. Just hold the idea of Labor Day. If you are feeling Labor Day, you can almost imagine it in a bubble, like you're holding Labor Day. It's this thing, it's this globe, whatever it looks like. If you're holding it high, wherever you naturally hold it is fine. Yes, Labor Day is the end of summer. Thank you for asking. Labor Day is the end of summer in North America with the Labor Day holiday. So officially end of September at the fall equinox. So roughly September 22nd. But a lot of people feel like the end of summer is Labor Day. So whatever summer is for you, the end, whether that is September 1st, October 1st, whatever date that is. Imagine it's in a ball or a bubble. And if you are seeing it and feeling it up high, bring it lower in front of your heart. Just sit with that for a second. Notice what the end of summer feels like. What do you feel? Do you notice things in your body? Do you hear certain things? What do you see? What do you smell? Feel free to come back to this after this session or whenever it's in the replay. Not whenever. It'll be within a day or so. And do it intentionally. This might be something you come back to over and over. If anyone wants to share in the chat how you want your summer to feel, what you see finished, what you've accomplished, and even accomplished can mean I successfully took every Friday off. I maintained my current client load. I'm ready for fall. Curious to hear what's coming through for you. My curriculum is finished and my people love it. Yes, I'm making awesome progress on my book. Love it. My book is out and published, feeling inner peace. Yes, I love that. I love that you added what you're feeling. I think it's important to focus on. Also knowing that the feeling might not be your dominant representational system. So you might not feel things first. It might be something that you see or you know. I have clients who want to keep working with me. Yes, yes, you do. Love this. I am visiting friends after a meditation retreat and I'm doing some breathwork project with them. I feel peaceful and expansive. Yes. Feeling grounded and engaged in my own passion projects. Ooh, so good. I love all of these. So take the feeling grounded, engaged, peaceful, expansive, inner peace. Also the feeling when your curriculum is done, when you're making progress, what does that feel like? And put this on a sticky note, put it everywhere you'll see it, reminder on your phone, wherever you'll see it daily, and remind yourself every time you sit down to write. This is the energy you're writing with. You sit down, you're peaceful, expansive. So what do you write when you feel that way? Instead of stressed, overwhelmed, exhausted, distracted. All right, we have another one. Content and ready to harvest, ready to finish my book proposal and submit to the contest. So exciting. I hope I am not as stuck as I feel now, but if I'm honest, I reluctantly predict it to be so. I see you. I get that. If that is you and you are stuck now and thinking about stuckness in the future, there could be some other things going on behind it. What I usually ask my clients in our coaching sessions, if they say they're stuck somewhere, is where else in your life do you feel stuck? Because things show up in other areas and they don't discriminate where they show up. So what could be showing up in the writing project is actually a stuckness somewhere else. Whereas when you focus on that other area and move that, and if this is true for you or anyone here, when you notice that, it's often the first thing that comes to mind. And it's like, oh no. And that's when our brain is kicking in. When we hear that, oh no, we start to argue with ourselves. That's our brain, which is often loud at times. And when we focus on the areas that may have us feeling stuck in other places, it loosens things up and then things start moving there and then they move everywhere. All right. Thanks for playing with that with me. That was fun. So you're here because you want to make meaningful progress on your writing projects without all this. You don't need to lock yourself inside while your family's at the pool and feeling crappy about it, frustrated by distractions, canceling vacations. Please don't do that. Unless, of course, you have to. And then that's just the unpredictability. And without burning out. If you've been going 300 miles an hour since January and you're not slowing down just a little bit so that you can bring some new things to life in the fall, we are not necessarily meant to create at a pace like that, especially women. Although I say that, and you might be in a season of massive creation and output. And then next year, you'll rest. But we want to do this without burning out. And that is why we pay attention to our bodies and the ebb and flow of life, what's going on around us, and how we're interacting with it. And we're definitely not sacrificing the slower vibe of the season. The vibe of feeling grounded, engaged, inner peace, expansive, all those things. All right. Our 5 things we're diving in. 1, please stop comparing your summer to everyone else's. If you have not gone on an information diet or a social media diet yet, try it. This is the best diet you'll ever go on. Even if you take a short pause from it, even if it's just a week or a weekend, you might already be thinking of some people that are coming to mind. Who's having a summer that you're comparing to and you think yours needs to look like theirs? Maybe you think you need to launch your book because you are seeing other book launches right now, but really yours isn't quite ready yet, and you'd be forcing it and pushing it to be out before it's ready. It's not done cooking. Really define what you want yours to be like. And that's what we did in that first exercise. Seeing what we feel like at the end of summer. And we can do this for every season. Not just season, we can do it every year. We can do it every day. In the morning, bring that vision to mind of how you want to feel at the end of the day and see yourself doing that. See yourself going through the motions to feel grounded and engaged, to feel peaceful and expansive, to feel inner peace. What actions do you take that lead you to feel that? And number 2, prioritizing recovery over rest. So this is a big question. If you've been pushing yourself hard since January 1st, maybe not even 2025, maybe you've been pushing since 2022, 2015, I don't know, 10 years, and you haven't really recovered. Before you start to relax, or if you notice that you have trouble relaxing, ask yourself, do I feel safe enough to stop pushing hard and relax? Can I balance these 2 things of relaxed and creativity? Peaceful creation. Feel free to play with some of those words that you said you wanted to feel. Expansive writing. Grounded visibility. I'm just making some stuff up. Because if you find it hard to relax, you might not be recovering. And you think that a week at pool or the beach or the mountains or exploring Europe, wherever your vacation is taking you, and it's not feeling restorative and it feels uncomfortable, you might not be actually recovering. And that can also be when we're constantly thinking about our writing projects and not moving forward on them. It's just thinking. And that thinking about it without action is a huge energy leak. So this is also an effort in plugging up those things that are leaking our energy. Things that can also be leaking your energy, back to number 1, other people's ideas of great summers. Instagram accounts that don't feel expansive and exciting to you. So you can really curate what information you let in an intentional way. And you can also do it in a slow roll kind of way. The next time you pop open your feed to post, seeing what comes up, and if something comes up that doesn't feel good, unfollow. You don't have to tell them, don't apologize, just take a step back. Really, we know that we don't have a problem with information or consuming. And I mean that in a way. We have a problem with there's so much coming at us. So really choosing what we let in, because what we let in is affecting us. It's affecting how we feel every day. So of course it's going to affect how we create this summer. Number 3, honor all your, I'm using air quotes, small needs, because they might not actually be small. Choose one need a day or a week. Make sure you're looking after it. So this could be your movement practice. Like, I finally have time this summer to do this. And I'm actually already hearing people say, oh, I'll have more time for this in the fall. Summer's too busy. We always think we have more time in the future. Give me a yes or a hand raise in the chat if this is you, where you think that you will have more time later and you're not going to be as busy. But then what happens is that time comes and you're just as busy, if not busier. Yeah. My own hand is raised. Totally used to do this. The thing with thinking we're always going to have more time in the future, we won't, unless we do intentional things to make that happen. Unless we take things off our plate, we stop doing things. And sometimes it's not even necessarily stopping things that we need to do. It's actually being focused when we say we're doing it. Like when we say we're writing, are we actually sitting down and only writing? Or do we have 10 other tabs open and we're trying to do all the other things? So when we're focused, there's so much more that you can get done in a short snippet of time. So looking after those needs helps us to feel grounded, supported, peaceful. It might be 30 minutes of sun in the morning. It might be shifting your schedule from how you've done your writing and your work year round. Maybe summer will look different, and that's okay. Bookmarking all those open tabs. Yes, thank you. Maybe you will only work or write until noon and take the afternoon off. Take one day off a week completely, every Friday, just done, or Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday. It really doesn't matter the day. When can you make sure you're looking after all the things you need? Another way to look at this, beyond your needs and looking after yourself so that you can write, is sitting with your writing project and asking it, what do you need from me? Your writing project might say, I need you to stop thinking and start writing. I need you to stop trying to edit. I need you to actually write. I need you to focus. I need you to stop listening to all these online gurus saying all these things that lead you to doubt yourself. Stop listening. See what it says. This usually has some good answers. Tana says, my book needs me to love it. Yeah, that is so huge. And then what happens when you love your book? Oh my gosh, the feeling of that. When you love your book, what do you give it? What do you give things you love? Time, attention, focus, presence. It'll be such a good book because of that. I love that. And Christy says, focus leads to flow. Yes. I don't know if distraction and flow can go together in the same sentence. I don't think that's a thing. I think finding that time to focus, and even though it is very, I think tangible is the word I'm looking for, where we put time on our calendar, 30 minutes to focus. It feels very like, oh, that's not flowy and fun and spontaneous, but that 30 minutes of time you put on your calendar could be exactly what you need. Jody says, stop collecting ideas for what to write about and write something already. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. I have been there. My hand is raised, and I hear this from a lot of my clients too. They have folders and folders, both virtual and physical, stacks of paper, stacks of ideas. Pick one idea. Thank you for saying that, Dana. I helped you quit that and actually write. Yes. And Dana published a book last year. Perhaps your summer intention might be to make progress on one idea. I love that. Definitely keep me posted on it. All right. Number 4, carve out pockets of time. I know this sounds so boring, but you guys, it works. Julia Cameron in The Artist's Way said to write, quote, in the cracks. The cracks are those little sneaky bits of time that you think you don't have time for. It's the 15 minutes you had before joining this call where you were wrapping up another one. What were you doing? Could you have done some writing for 5 minutes? Actually, when this call is done, if you can do that, I'll remind you again at the end, if I remember, to set a timer for 5 minutes and just write down the things that are coming to mind. Write down what you'll take action on from what you've learned today, things you're going to do. Learning is really pointless and useless unless we do something with it and start doing things. So in the cracks, waiting for the water to boil, waiting for your coffee to brew, packing a notebook, taking notes on your phone. So I know notes on your phone and speaking isn't exactly writing, but this fuels writing. I do this all the time, especially because I've been on the go a lot lately with ideas, talk to text, record it into my phone. I use an app called Otter, Otter, and I believe you get 4 hours free a month. And it's a really good transcription tool. Then you have your transcription, and that's your writing. I've done big chunks of some of my books like this. Ones that I'm not actively working on. They're books that are little side projects so this is the thing. When you choose a project to focus on, we're creatives, you're going to get so many ideas. And it's important to also capture those ideas and the quick little snippets coming through. Because again, that's another energy leak. We're focusing on this book, but we have ideas for 3 other ones. Maybe it actually is time to quit your book project, the current one, and work on something different. Maybe what you started was meant to get you to a certain place so that you could start something else. Or maybe this book is just not what needs to be written anymore because you've changed so much. And that's great. And it served you up until now. And then there's something else. So forcing yourself to work with us on something that's not aligned anymore, that can be draining. And it probably doesn't feel very good. But as you are focusing, you're going to get all these other ideas. So these 10 minutes between calls while you wait for your family to get ready for the beach, have them pack the car, or in my case, don't have them unpack the car because that is what caused the electrolytes on my laptop incident. It was my own fault. I put my water bottle in my bag and I put it right side up. And I even checked on the drive. I said, hey, my water bottle's still straight up in the bag. I packed it strategically. But during unpacking is when it spilled. All right, our last one. Designate some new writing spots. If you are stuck and trying to write in the same place every day and it's feeling stale, try writing somewhere else. And try to write everywhere. Writing doesn't need to be confined to one spot. Some of you already know I wrote my books, I did the drafts in spots other than my desk. I wrote one on my porch. I think this was when I lived between Illinois and New Jersey. None of it happened in my office, just the editing. and or my back porch, hockey arena, anywhere else other than my desk. So you can do this intentionally. Plan other places to write, coffee shop writing. It's like there's some kind of magic in those places. I think for me, it is that I'm removing myself from distractions of home. And if everyone is home during the summer and they're normally not, that can also help. Like just get out of the house. Doing things like bring your computer outside first thing in the morning and get a little bit of sun. 15, 20 minutes, some quick writing. And 15, 20 minutes, if you've ever really focused for that amount of time and let some words out, almost always it surprises people how much they're able to accomplish in that short snippet of time. And make your writing spot feel good. Spot in the sun, grab some flowers, set it up with some things that feel like summer, things that remind you of how you want to feel, expansive, inner peace. Bring those things in. Christy says, I get really interesting ideas that surprise me, plus extra motivation. Yay. When I write in a different spot, I like variety in other areas of life, and it took me a while to appreciate that in my life as well. Yeah, that is huge. And this is such a good example too about how other areas of your life can inform your writing. Like, of course you like writing every other area of your life, so of course you need it in your writing projects too. All right, we have a bonus one. I couldn't keep it to just 5. Welcome the distractions. There are so many distractions. So I believe it was Julia Cameron who said this, although I've searched for the quote for years and I can't find it. So maybe it wasn't her. Maybe I'm crediting her and it belongs to someone else. If anyone hears this or knows where this comes from, please let me know. She said, what if we looked at distractions as corrections in our trajectory? And as soon as I read that, it just felt like an exhale, like a relief. It was like, delays, plan changes. So already in July, I've had to reschedule 3 or 4 podcast interviews, cancel meetings, move around community calls. And I don't like to do that. I really like when something is on the calendar that is on the calendar and is going to stay. I had some unexpected travel. I have some guests coming later this week. Constant change, constant distraction. And I'm like, okay, how are we going to make this work? Laptop not working, things just happening that I didn't want to happen. Sitting down to work the other day, and my daughter's like, I really want to hang out. So I had a choice. I could be like, no, I really want to work. I mean, sometimes I might say that and do what I can and then say, okay, give me 30 minutes and then we'll go do something. But in the moment, I was like, no, like we're going to go do something. So we did something. Then the next day we went to the beach and I got too much sun. Martin says my work was written on espresso, Americanos, and lattes, all provided by favorite cafes. I love that. There's so much good fuel from other places. One thing I love to do, I call this a finding flow day, is picking a small town. Like if you have an area where you have a few different spots you can visit, like you have a spot to eat breakfast and a spot to eat lunch, just leave for the day, pack your bag, and work in different spaces. You might pop into a bookstore in between. That's my favorite, if I can find a bookstore in between that. You'll have your coffee in one, do some shopping in another, browse some antiques, and then have lunch in another place. And sometimes I found if cafes are really busy, like the coffee shops are packed, I've gone to write in a bar. I don't drink. And you don't need to drink in a bar or sparkling water. And it's also a great spot, especially if it's like middle of the day, because there's usually not a lot of people there. Everyone's still drinking coffee. So that's another fun change. But every time a distraction pops up, which they will, pause again, go inward. How do I want to feel? How do I want my writing project to feel at the end of summer? What if this distraction is an invitation? When I come back to my writing project after I've had an interruption, maybe I'm going to see something new now. That distraction was on purpose. And that helps so much with getting irritated about it. Like, oh, why are you asking me for another snack? My kids are older and make their own snacks now, but just an example. All right. Those were the 5 main ones. Let me go over them quickly. And then I'm going to throw some more stuff at you because I love this topic so much. Stop comparing yourself. Your summer is your summer, not everyone else's. 2, recovery over rest. Are you really recovering? Honor all your needs, big, small, in between. Carve out pockets of time. So this might even look like planning the rest of July or August. Just a couple of cracks here and there. As an example, I'm focused on doing roughly 3 hours a week on my book. So I put that time on the calendar. Designate new writing spots. If the words aren't flowing somewhere, pick up your computer or notebook and go somewhere else. Distractions, welcome them. All right, some more stuff. Say no. I know we want to say yes to all the things, but there are some things that we might need to say no to. And not just really need to say no, I mean, want to say no. You don't actually want to go to that barbecue where there's 50 people there and you're going to be exhausted. Or maybe you do, and you'll say no to something else. What can you delegate? Whether this is someone on your team or this is delegating to grocery delivery, things like that, that just give you a little bit of extra time to breathe. What can be helpful here is doing a review of all the things you've done in the past week, seeing what you enjoyed, and seeing what you don't. Plan the rest of summer while leaving space for surprises. So for me, this looks like blocked time on my calendar and rearranging things when necessary. Once you've gotten a clue of your most creative times where you love to work, so maybe your best times for writing were 1 to 3 p.m. in the winter. Maybe now it's 7 to 9 a.m. It's okay that that's different. You've changed. The planets have changed. Everything has changed. Your time for writing can totally be different too. Your email signature and out of office replies. I'm going to switch to this slide to show you these. And I have a link for you too. Up in the top left is my current email signature. I have a lot of unplug time coming up the rest of July, the next couple Thursdays and Fridays. And in my signature, I'm always promoting something. So with the upcoming unplug time, I've had a lot of response to both this and my autoresponder, which I have autoresponders for you if you don't have them already. And they're out of the office autoresponders, and they're actually fun ones, not like, I will be out of the office until Monday. Please be patient. We're not doing that. But I've had a lot of great responses to these messages and people saying, can I steal this? I'm like, yes, please steal this. So by adding my upcoming unplugged time to my signature, it does a couple things. It tells people when I'm not going to be around, if they pay attention. Not everyone does, okay. And it also encourages them, like, oh crap, am I not taking any unplugged time? I'm going to schedule some right now. So if you haven't done that, feel free to do this for the rest of the summer. Put in your email signature. And then on the right, this was my out of office message for last week. I was out Monday through, I was doing a little bit of work later in the week, but I was mostly unplugged in the beginning part. Effectively, I was out all last week. I let people know what I'm working on. I'm working on my book. I'm working on an in-person retreat. In the meantime, book chat for book coaching or website or copy coaching. And September really is my busiest time as a writing coach. So kind of spot soon. Or listen to the podcast. I'm going to drop this link in the chat or the out of office messages. Grab those. There's a bunch of them in there. And I already have mine written for when I'm going to be away in August. All right. Make your email signature work for you and help you carve out that time. Think about the fall. Loosely plan the rest of the year. Now, I always say loosely because things can change, but just paying attention to it. And by thinking about the fall, we already did some of this by knowing how we want to feel about our summer writing by the end of summer. What will you create in the fall with what you've done in the summer? How are you going to build on it? And I really love thinking about breaking my work up into quarters, like the quarters of the year. So we're in Q3. Is that right? Yes. June, July, August. Is that right? January, February, March. July, August, September. We're at the start of Q3. I needed to count that out on my fingers. We're at the start of Q3. What will you create in these 12 weeks to set you up for the last 12 weeks of the year? The other thing that I really love to do during summer, and this is especially helpful if you have a pretty good body of work already, revisit, revise, refresh old writing. Mercury is also going retrograde in a couple weeks, the planet of communication, I believe the 17th. A great time to review things you've already written and refresh it, especially if you've been sending newsletters and blogs for a while. Your audience probably hasn't read your old stuff or doesn't remember it, and you've changed, so you're probably going to have some updates to it. Feel free to spend some time updating that stuff instead of trying to create something new all the time, unless, of course, new stuff is coming through. Commit or recommit to your body of work. This might be one writing project, and it might be one project that is going to set the stage for others. Nourish your body and mind for the season. So, depending on where you live, eating for summer. Are you still eating heavy winter squashes and I'm thinking mashed potatoes, all those foods of like fall and winter that are warming? Yes, a lot of your body has to do with this too, but how can you lighten up? There's a reason certain fruits are in season in the summer because they have boatloads of water in them for hydrating. So more watermelon, berries. Are you working that stuff in? Maybe your new writing ritual will be bowl of berries and some writing. I'm sure there's a more snappier way I could say that. I hate that. But whatever it is you're doing, having that set the stage for writing. So we talk about writing rituals a bit in the community, where sometimes it's lighting a candle, I could write candles, taking deep breaths, beginning to write, listening to a certain song, smelling an essential oil, something like that. Maybe you'll have some different ones around for the summer season. So relaxed writing and living is flow. When we're in flow, we're relaxed. We're in a calm, peaceful, grounded state. We're in our hearts and our heads. We're not gripping tightly to this writing project, trying to force it to be something. It's true surrender at the page. And surrender in the way that we are exhaling, we're letting go, we're trusting the process, we're co-creating with God, letting the work be what it needs to be. No forcing. And that is where we find flow, the relaxed flow. 2 quick invitations for you, and I want to see what kind of questions you guys have. Some of you are already in the writing community, so glad to see you here. We do daily guidance and prompts now, if you haven't been in the community for a while. We do roughly 3 hours a week of co-writing, twice a month Q&A, so this is live discussion. We connect over cacao or coffee or whatever you are drinking and just chat. And really, it's a great time to talk about what's on our minds, bounce ideas around templates, guides, resources, swipe files, workshops, lots of stuff coming up. We've got some human design workshops coming up. I have one coming in September. There's one coming up about money, and there's another one about, it's escaping me, I think stretching for writing. And right now we're having the summer of relaxed writing in the community. And then come August with Leo season, we're going to be focused on authentic visibility. So getting out there consistently. And also, we are working on some quarterly virtual retreats and some boot camps. Thank you, Kirian, for your comments about the prompts in my newsletter. I'm so glad you love those on your morning pages. Number 2, you can write your stuff, books, blogs, website copy with me. We do strategy, 2 to 3 calls a month. We will create an outline and a plan. I am your editor and coach in your pocket. You also get the community for a year with that. And if we're working on a book, we're also going to look at your business and website, because having your book project, most of us aren't taking time away from our business to work on our books. We are growing both at the same time, or we're writing a book to grow our business. So we will look at both instead of just a container of one. So you can check these out. The links are here. They'll also be in the replay, intuitivewritingschool.com/community or /work with me. Thank you, Christy, for your kind words about the community. Love that you love the advice, accountability, and support. Yes, the biggest thing with community is surrounding yourself with others who are doing similar work, have similar goals. They're all working toward a writing project. We've got people working on books, blogs, curriculums. Some are nonfiction work, screenplays, website copy, SEO, all the things that are associated with running a business and or writing a book. You don't need to be writing a book to be in there. But a lot of people who joined in the past couple of years who didn't plan on writing a book wrote one. So warning, that could happen. We might cause book writing. Dana says being with other writers has changed everything for me. Thank you so much, Dana. So glad you're here. All right. What questions do you have or insights around your relaxed writing summer? I welcome your questions, insights, or if you want to share one action you will take today. Christy, to write as soon as the call ends. Yay. Kirian says, for me, genuine recovery hits the spot. Yes. Catherine says the writing from the heart part stuck with me, and that flow means not to edit. Yes. Lena posted the first blog today. Yes. And you're finishing a second. Yay. Congratulations. Dana is going to the pool when the call ends. That is such a great idea. Catherine, I want to circle back to your comment that flow means not to edit. So I also want to mention we can find flow in editing too. You can find flow in both. It is only to see writing and editing as 2 separate tasks. There's writing, getting it out. Editing is later, and we can edit in stages. And we can bring that same energy of the flow of just letting the words out to our editing. So it's not, I just want to make sure that it's clear that you can find flow in editing too. Kathy says, I've been pushing hard for a while. Recovery is essential right now, so I can refocus and start writing without pushing. Yes. Because if we haven't actually truly paused, just because the calendar says summer doesn't necessarily mean that we've had a rest and we're ready to refocus. Because come September, the energy around September kind of makes me angry from some people when they're like, it's September, it's back to school, it's time to do all the things and launch all the stuff that you wanted to launch. Like, September is the new January, and people freaking out that they're nowhere closer to their goals than they were March 1st, April 1st, June 1st. September hits, and it's like something freaks people out. September 1st and December 1st. And they're like, I haven't done what I said I was going to do. This is huge. And actually, the next thing I'm planning in the community is, so it's either going to be some kind of retreat or a boot camp to address that, like why we are doing the things we're doing. And especially, why are we not doing the things we're doing? Yay, Eva, you just joined today. I am so excited. And I know you're working on a book, so I'm excited to hear more about it. Genuine recovery, rest, no more pressure. Yes, amen. Jody will reflect on the rest recovery paradigm I pointed out, as it's a piece of the puzzle I've been needing. I'm so glad, Jody. Keep me posted on how that's going for you. And Martin says, try to limit my editor. I like that editor is capitalized. That's on purpose. Where is the work, inner voice? And return to writer. This is fun, inner voice. Oh, that is so good. That is such a big shift. Shifting gears to writer. This is fun. And editor, which when you do that, yes, do the shift. And when you get to editing, how can editing be fun? I might suggest doing some journaling or some brain dumping on what being an editor means. I know for a lot of people I've worked with, it is a professor or a high school English teacher that was a little too red pen happy and chopped up people's work, leaving them wondering what is wrong with me. It is a bad grade on an essay that we thought we did a great job at, or a parent that's like, why is this a B? Or an old boss who was like, try again. Totally have had that, those bosses. This is so good, you guys. All right. With that, we will wrap. I will send out the replay when it's ready with any of the links I mentioned. And I hope you grabbed the summer out of office replies and use them. And I want to hear, really, what will you do after this call? So we didn't end that much early. I just want to address Catherine's comment. This reminds me to be corrected for style in school. And you always wonder, what? Yes, exactly. That's what I love about online writing and writing today. We get to create our own style. We're not finding our style. We get to define what it is, which also means it can change and evolve and grow with us. So excited to hear that. So I also want to hear from you what you wrote today. After we are done, just take 5-10 minutes, do some movement, do some journaling, get clear on the rest of your summer, and share it with me. I want to hear about it. Thank you, everyone, for being here.